Hi there, this is Blaine with Seven Sons. In today's video, I want to introduce you to the incredible time-saving and money-saving benefits of meal planning. Here at Seven Sons, we use meal planning week in and week out. That's the only way we're able to eat healthy consistently. Now, some of you may be a lot like myself and my wife. We have 4 little kids, and it is a busy time of life for us. So thinking about eating healthy consistently is one, a big priority to us, but it takes a lot of intentionality to make that happen. But what we have found is that over the years, the more intentional we are about meal planning, buying foods in bulk, making meals in bulk, it can really revolutionize your lifestyle. You end up spending less time in the kitchen, you end up spending actually less money on groceries, and you're eating healthier, and it really can make an improvement in your overall lifestyle. So, what I'd like to do in this video is to simply kind of introduce you to some of the basic concepts of meal planning. This is stuff that our parents and grandparents used to do, but something in today's busy lifestyle and pace of life, we've just kind of forgotten some of these simple basics. Now, when it comes to eating healthy, your mindset is really, really important. One of the questions that we get asked all the time is, can you really eat healthy day in and day out and feed your entire family healthy food, healthy meals, and do it on a budget? And can you do it without slaving away for hours and hours in the kitchen? And the answer is a resounding yes. And that's what this video and our next videos will be about, is how meal planning actually enables you to do that. But first, your mindset has to be right. You have to believe it really is possible to feed your family healthy on a budget without spending all kinds of time. So a couple things to think about, and we're going to show you in these videos how you can actually prepare meals at less than what it would cost you to take your family to the cheapest fast food restaurant or buy some of the cheap frozen meals that every grocery store has. We're going to show you how you can actually make high quality food, high quality meals at a lower cost. It really is a really exciting and empowering. Something else to keep in mind when we think about mindset. Cheap food. When you go to the grocery store and you see cheap food is only cheap at the moment it's purchased. The rest of the cost is either incurred by taxpayers as the USDA funds conventional farming practices that artificially reduce the prices of food. And then the rest of the cost, the true cost of food, is passed on to the health of our soil, to the health of our land, and also to your health. There's an interesting documentary done a few years back called Catching Fire. It was a documentary on the medical industry. And it did an interesting comparison. If you compare the rate that healthcare cost has risen since 1945, and if you compared food cost, so say food cost had risen at the same rate that healthcare cost had since 1945, what would some of the simple food items cost? Well, a dozen of eggs, I think it was like around $30. Same with a gallon of milk, $30. A bushel of oranges was over $100. That's if food costs had gone up at the same rate that healthcare costs had since 1945, okay? So in reality, no one can hardly afford to buy cheap food. It's not cheap. It's only cheap at the moment it goes through that scanner. The rest of the cost is incurred later. All right, so what we're doing by investing in high quality foods for our family, ultimately we're saving money in the long run. All right, something else when it comes to mindset is to keep in mind the perspective and relative cost of food. All right, I hear from people all the time that say, hey, we love what you guys are doing out there at Seven Sons Farms, but I could never afford to eat food, pasture-raised foods, and most people couldn't. That's the mindset that most people have. In reality, nothing could be further from the truth. And in reality, most people on a daily basis are buying food every day that costs more than, say, this dozen of pasture-raised eggs from our hens here at Seven Sons. Case in point, walk into a convenience store or a gas station. You'll see people that stop in every morning on the way to work or every evening on the way home from work, and they're buying candy bars, they're buying snacks, and they're buying pop. And if you look at the cost per calorie or the cost per ounce of most of those foods, they cost more than the food here behind me, pasture-raised foods that you could buy from a local farmer. Another example is walk into Starbucks. Again, people that walk into Starbucks walk out with their, with their scones and their fancy little drink, and I enjoy Starbucks from time to time, so nothing wrong there. But most of those people walking out would say, "Oh, I could never buy healthy pasture-raised foods." Well, if you go into Starbucks, look at the menu. They now include the amount of calories in each food item on the menu and on all their drinks. If you look at the cost per calorie of the average item at Starbucks, comes in quite a bit more in a cost per calorie basis than what you could buy healthy, local, pasture-raised foods for, okay? So when it comes to, and matter of fact, even in the grocery store, if you look at most of the items that people are buying in the grocery store, a lot of TV dinners, microwavable food, that food is not cheap. And if you start comparing the cost per ounce or the cost per calorie, you can actually find that just being intentional about meal planning, you can eat for less than what most people in the grocery store are loading their carts full of, at the same time saying they could never buy healthy food. All right, so this is empowering to think about. If we could get this information out to more people, it would change our entire culture and society. So mindset is so important. Okay, so we're going to do some other videos. This is it for now, but we're going to do some other videos that walk you through, some very simple and practical meal planning recipes, and we've kind of geared the recipes towards something that anyone could do. I know some of you are out there are already pretty advanced with your meal planning and really getting a lot of nutrients and using some advanced recipes. What we want to do is we want to give examples that anyone on any budget with any amount of time can do.